Let's talk about the Bookish blanket make-along. My name is Emily Crow from The Cozy Crow, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you some more details about the Bookish blanket make-along. If you haven't heard about it from some other videos I've had on my channel recently, I just wanted to do like a really big overview on all the rules and what's going on, even some prizes related to this make-along, so that you can feel informed and ready to go since we are starting on September 13th. I'll also pop up some graphics here that I've shared on my Instagram if you haven't seen them yet, to kind of help you know where we are in the discussion about this make-along. First of all, I was first inspired by this make-along because I have acquired kind of a lot of blanket quantities of yarn, or I am in the process of acquiring from different clubs or things like that, blanket quantities of yarn. So I have some blanket projects in mind that I want to work on, and a lot of these projects are book related because I have really been enjoying combining my love for reading and my love for yarn together in projects. It all started with my Astrid blanket by Mallory Crawl that I made using Woolberry Fiber Co. And then I used, I think Swish DK, maybe. I think this is the Bear colorway. That yarn is from Knit Picks, and I used it for joining everything together, filling in a couple gaps in my squares, and also doing the border. So you can really see those colors shine, at least the colorful skeins that I use. This yarn is from Woolberry Fiber Co.'s Book Society boxes. Each season, 2023 and a 2023 through most of 2024, they released boxes based on books with 4 different skeins of yarn. So you'd open the box, have a mystery book, and you would open these skeins throughout the process of reading the book, which is a super fun experience. I had some hits, I had some misses, but I still had a really fun time. I have vlogs on my channel for all of those boxes, as well as a vlog for my process of finishing this blanket off. It is heavy. It is not super big, but it's like a good size for being a lap blanket for me. I really love this. And this started my recent love for blankets. And since then, I've just been acquiring yarn that I have intended for blankets, and I just needed an excuse to finally cast them on. So I thought it would be really fun to do a blanket make along and to make it bookish themed, since as the weather's cooling down, it's definitely cozy up in your home with a good book season. And some of this yarn that I have for blankets is inspired by books in general. So that is kind of where this make-along came from. Let's jump into more details about the make-along. The whole idea is that you are using full skeins of yarn, kind of like what I've acquired from doing different clubs and things, or even for this project, being able to highlight full skeins of yarn and even use full skeins of yarn as the joining color for that blanket. The goal is to use up full skeins of yarn in a project that would make a great blanket for cozying up with a good book. So the yarn and the pattern don't have to be book themed, but you do get extra prize entries if your yarn or your pattern are inspired by books in any way, whether it's actual book tropes or actual books or whatnot. I've seen lots of yarn dyers and even some more commercial yarns have book themed yarn. So I think this isn't too much of a stretch that some people could have some bookish yarn in their stash that they would want to use for this make along, but it's definitely not required. This make along will run from September 13th through November 30th. So about 2.5 months long, though whips are welcome. So if you've started a blanket in the past and you want to finish it in this make along, totally fine. You don't even have to use up your minimum skein amount during the make along. Like if you are on the final stretch of this blanket, I don't care. I want you to be able to finish a blanket that you can cozy up with a book in during this make along. So you can be at the very end of your work in progress, and I don't care. I would still love to have you participate. So whips are totally allowed. I don't have a minimum yardage requirement for blankets because it all kind of differs, but I am expecting you to use 4 full skeins of yarn. So 4 50 to 100 gram skeins of yarn, because I know some skeins are on the smaller side, but no like mini skeins, no scraps, no advents will count towards this minimum skein requirement. You can definitely use all those smaller quantities of yarn in your blanket if that's what you like. I know lots of people do have advent projects, but to be eligible for prizes, you need to use up 4 full skeins of yarn. You can't just only use advents or minis or scraps, if that makes sense. So for a project like this, I used full skeins of yarn for this, but you could easily make a project like this using mini skeins for these squares and then join with your full skeins of a main color. I think it's totally reasonable for you to make a blanket with advents or mini skeins and still reach that for full skein requirement to be eligible for prizes if you use full skeins for the joining of everything together, for the border, things like that. And since you can knit or crochet your blanket in whatever gauge you want, 4 skeins of worsted weight is going to work up very differently than 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn. So that's really your prerogative on what you want to do. So let's talk a little bit about prizes. Like I mentioned earlier, if you make a book themed pattern or you use book themed yarn, then you get extra entries if you finish an object. I'm going to have a Google form available that you can fill out your entry on so that when you finish your blanket, or blankets, I guess, if you have the time to make more than one, then you can enter your blanket for prizes. We have some amazing sponsors and some really generous people who have offered some prizes for winners. So we're gonna have multiple prizes available. I'm so excited. So I wrote them down so I can share with you the things that are going to be offered. First, Amber of Waning Gibbous Creations has offered one of her digital patterns for free. She's got a couple on her Ravelry shop. I'll pop them right here so you can see, but one of those patterns could be yours for free. And then in the realm of patterns, we've got a couple other digital patterns that are related to books that are really exciting. So Nicole of Professor Pearl, who is also here on YouTube, she has offered one of her sock patterns for free to a prize winner. And both of her sock patterns are book themed. One of them is the Read More socks and one of them is the Selena socks. So that's really fun to be able to have book themed patterns. Another book themed pattern that is going to be available as a prize is Hortense of Knitting with Chopsticks, has a Falling into Stitches ebook, which includes a blanket pattern that also has a lot of tips and tricks for working on the pattern and all sorts of different textures. It's really a beautiful pattern, and I think it would be a really good pattern to choose for this make along if you already have that pattern. So I'll pop it up here so you can take a look at that as well. And so a winner will get that ebook. And then some physical prizes that have been offered. Ashley of Goose and Ghost Knits has a currently unreleased tote design that they are providing as a prize. So next year they're going to be doing a book theme collection. And so this tote is going to be the first product of its kind. The winner will get like a sneak preview on this collection through that prize, which is so fun. And then the tote will also feature a notions tin with some fun bookish notions from Ashley. And then Maggie of Yarnaceous Fibers has offered a few different prizes for us actually, which is so generous of her. She is offering a $50 gift card to use in her shops. She's also offering a tonal set of the winner's choice up to $120 value, which is really awesome. She's got a lot of tonal sets with 50 gram skeins, 100 gram skeins, some really beautiful color palettes there. And then she's also offering the October book box that she's been doing. You can see on my channel, I've done a few videos about these and I have more videos coming on different book boxes that Yarnaceous has done. But the October book box is for The Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana, which I'm really excited to read. And so I already purchased my box. And so one of our prizes is going to be that box, which includes a pattern, the yarn to make that pattern, as well as a whole bunch of other curated goodies that are related to the book that inspired the box. And as you read through the book, you'll be able to open the packages inspired by those pages and open those goodies, which is always a really, really fun experience. We have a ton of really awesome prizes that are available. Depending on how much participation we get in this make along, I can offer my Romance Reader socks as a prize, or maybe find some other prizes. If there are other prizes that you would want for this make along, make sure to let me know down below and I can look into them because we got time. Like I said, this make along is running through the end of November, so it'll be done before the Christmas season. This would be great if you want something cozy for yourself, or if you want to make a blanket for somebody else and have it done well before the holidays. If you want to join, all you really have to do is fill out the Google form. I'll make sure to link it down below starting September 13th. But if you want to participate in the community and see what other people are making and get other inspiration and cheer everyone else on and maybe even win a participation prize or two that I might be offering, then make sure to check out the Discord link that I have down below for my Discord channel. There's a couple different threads on there related to this make along, so you are free to chit chat, share pattern recommendations, share finished objects, things like that. If you want some ideas of some patterns that you could make for this make along, I have 2 different roundup videos coming up on my channel within the next few days. I've got a knit video and a crochet video. Each of them has 30 patterns, so you have tons of ideas for patterns that you can find online that I feel like would be a really good fit for this make along, either because they're already intended to be used with full skeins of yarn, or I share ways that those patterns can easily be adapted to use full skeins of yarn instead of just scraps or minis. So let me know, what are you planning on making for the Bookish blanket make along? Like I said, this Asher blanket was a really good choice for me, though I'm not gonna be making this. I'm gonna be making something else. I need to figure out exactly what I'm doing, but I will be sharing a video soon where I talk about all my blanket quantities of yarn, or the pending blanket quantities of yarn that I have, as well as the patterns that I'm hoping to make with them. And in that video, I will share with you my final choice on what I'm going to be making. Also, really quick, to finish out this video, Knit Picks and We Crochet are having a 20% off site-wide sale. And like I mentioned, their yarn is really good for supplementing your hand-dyed stash so that you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a blanket. You can buy much more affordable yarn from Knit Picks or We Crochet. Their selections differ slightly, so I do like to check out both websites, but they are owned by the same person, and they both have this 20% off sale going on. So my affiliate links for both are down below. I'm definitely going to be picking some up. The sale goes through September 7th, so you don't have long. Just this weekend is the conclusion of this sale, but I'll be picking up some bare yarn, kind of like what I did here, that I'm going to be using for the blanket that I choose to make. I have some ideas already, so I need to sit down and make my final decisions, but I definitely recommend going that route to have some more affordable yarn to maybe join your blanket together or to hold double with something else. I have a bunch of suri in my stash for a blanket that I might end up holding with a yarn from Knit Picks to really complement that suri. So that is a good option for you if you are needing to shop for yarn that you want to use for a blanket. Definitely check out Knit Picks and We Crochet because they have all sorts of options and all sorts of yarn weights and fibers available. Thank you so much for joining me as I shared with you more details about this make along. If you have any questions, definitely comment down below and let me know. And also let me know what you're planning on making, because I love to get ideas from all of you. That's where a lot of the ideas from my roundup videos came from, was from other people sharing different blankets with me and kind of leading me down the rabbit hole on what blanket patterns I would like to make, and then me wanting to share them with you as well. So keep an eye out for those roundups that are coming up soon, and I hope to see you for the Bookish blanket make along. Until then, happy making. Bye.